Nobody forced you to lease the BMW. Nobody told you to move to the expensive neighborhood. Nobody made you upgrade the gym, the grocery store, the wardrobe. Every single decision was yours. And that's exactly what makes the conformity tax the most dangerous financial trap in existence. It doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like you finally arrived. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how this tax works, how many forms it takes, how many directions it flows from, and most importantly, how much you're paying every single year without ever realizing it. By the time this video ends, you'll look at income increases completely differently, and you'll never make an unconscious spending decision the same way again. Let's get into it. First, let's establish exactly what we're talking about. The conformity tax is not collected by any government agency. It's not deducted from your paycheck by your employer. You don't sign any documents. You don't receive any notifications. No invoice arrives at the end of the fiscal year. But every year, quietly, you pay thousands of dollars into it. Here's the precise definition. The conformity tax is the collection of expenses that feel mandatory but are entirely voluntary. Expenses triggered by the shift in your self-narrative that occurs the moment your income crosses a certain threshold. Read that one more time. Feel mandatory but are entirely voluntary. That contradiction is the entire essence of this tax. Nobody is forcing you. But stopping feels nearly impossible. Because these expenditures aren't responding to external pressure. They're responding to an internal identity. And identity pressure is significantly more powerful than bill pressure. Let me introduce you to someone. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus is a marketing manager at a mid-sized company. He worked hard for years, proved himself consistently, and last year received a significant promotion. His salary moved from $72,000 to $105,000. 6 figures, the number he'd been targeting for years. That night when he drove home, something felt different. His shoulders sat a little higher. His steps landed a little firmer. There was a new voice in his head. I'm at that level now. And in that exact moment, the conformity tax started counting. The first month, nothing changed. Marcus was a smart person. He wasn't impulsive. But in the second month, an important client came in from out of town. Before the meeting, Marcus walked to his car. A 2017 sedan, modest, with a small scratch on the rear panel. And a thought crossed his mind. I don't want this car parked where my client can see it. Nobody had planted that thought, but it was there. It was real, and it was powerful. 3 weeks later, Marcus signed a lease on a luxury sedan at $680 a month. Because image mattered. Because he was at that level now. That was the conformity tax's first invoice. $8,160 a year. Marcus's story doesn't stop there. When his salary increased, the bank noticed. A mortgage pre-approval letter arrived. The number? $520,000. At the time, Marcus and his wife were paying $1,450 a month in rent. Reasonable neighborhood. Reasonable apartment. They were comfortable. They didn't feel constrained. But when that letter arrived, something shifted. We are now people who can buy a $520,000 home. There was a nice suburb outside the city. Good schools, spacious yards, clean streets. And the homes in that suburb, almost exactly, ranged from $490,000 to $520,000. Nobody told them to buy there, but nobody told them they didn't need to either. 6 months later, Marcus and his wife were making $3,200 a month in mortgage payments. They used to pay $1,450. The difference? $1,750 a month, $21,000 a year. And that number was locked in under a 30-year commitment. The conformity tax's second invoice. Now let's move into the quieter corners of Marcus's life. Because the conformity tax doesn't only arrive through major decisions. Sometimes its most expensive versions come through decisions so small, they're almost invisible. Marcus had a gym membership, $35 a month. Older facility, equipment slightly worn, but everything worked fine. After the promotion, his colleagues were going to a premium sports club during lunch breaks. Swimming pool, sauna, cafe. Marcus joined. $120 a month. Difference? $85. It's only $85. It's nothing. At the grocery store, he migrated toward the organic section. Weekly difference, $60. Monthly, $240. I'm investing in my health. His clothing budget shifted. Suits were now expected in meetings. 2 new suits, quality shoes. Total, $1,800. New phone. It's for work. $1,200. Weekend dinners changed. We deserve it. Monthly average, $180. Each one individually defensible. Each one individually reasonable. But now, let's add them all together. Gym upgrade, $85 per month. Groceries, $240 per month. Clothing and phone, $250 per month, annualized. Dining, $180 per month. Total, $755 per month, $9,060 per year. The Conformity Tax's third invoice. And Marcus didn't see any of this as extravagance, because it wasn't. Individually, every decision made sense. That is precisely why this tax is so dangerous. Now let's build Marcus's real financial picture. Pre-promotion annual income, $72,000. Post-promotion annual income, $105,000. Gross increase, $33,000. Now let's look at the conformity tax invoices. Car lease, $8,160 per year. Housing difference, $21,000 per year. Small upgrades, $9,060 per year. Total conformity tax, $38,220 per year. Wait, Marcus's raise was $33,000. His conformity tax is $38,220. Marcus was paying less before his promotion. He got promoted and started running a $5,220 annual deficit. When you first see these numbers, the instinct is to reject them. That's exaggerated, you say. Nobody spends that much. But the data tells a different story. According to a study by a financial behavior research firm, 67% of individuals who cross the $100,000 income threshold completely offset their income increase with spending increases within the first 18 months. 67%, 2 out of 3. And the vast majority of those people don't describe their spending as extravagant, because it isn't. They're just paying the conformity tax. Now we get to the real question. Why? Why do intelligent, aware, financially literate people fall into this cycle? The answer sits inside one of behavioral economics' most powerful concepts, the social reference point. People don't make spending decisions based on absolute values. They make them relative to their surroundings. Let's make this concrete. If Marcus had stayed in his old neighborhood after the promotion, his neighbors would still be from his previous income bracket. His comparison point would have stayed low. His old car would have been perfectly acceptable. His old grocery store would have been completely normal. But with the promotion came a shift in social environment. Now he had higher-earning colleagues, clients in more expensive districts, LinkedIn connections showing a different kind of life. And the reference point moved up. His old car suddenly looked worn. His old grocery store suddenly felt not quite right. His old gym suddenly seemed below his level. In reality, nothing had changed. The car was still the same car. The store was still the same store. The gym was still the same gym. But their perceived value in Marcus's mind had shifted, because his reference point had shifted. This is the precise psychological foundation of the conformity tax. There's no external force. There's an internal drift. And that drift happens without being noticed. Let me introduce you to 2 people. Both work at the same company. Both received the same promotion in the same month. Both moved to $105,000. The first is Marcus. You know his story. The second is Sarah. Sarah received the same offer, saw the same bank letter, felt the same social pressure. But Sarah did one thing Marcus didn't. The week she got promoted, she took out a piece of paper and wrote down a single question. Is this spending decision coming from me, or from the version of me I think my new salary requires me to be? She asked this question before every significant financial decision. She asked it about the car. Will my client actually evaluate me differently based on what I drive? Genuinely? The answer was no. She kept her car. She asked it about housing. Will living in this neighborhood actually make my life better, or just more expensive? The answer was just more expensive. She didn't move. She asked it about the grocery store. Will switching to the organic section genuinely improve my health? Or will it just make me feel more aligned with my income? She switched on a few items. Most, she didn't. What was Sarah's financial picture 1 year later? Income increase, $33,000. Conformity tax paid, $4,200. Only genuine intentional upgrades. Net financial gain, $28,800. Marcus's net financial gain, negative $5,220. Same company, same salary, same opportunities. The difference came from a single habit. Sarah asked the question, Marcus didn't. Now let's get into the concrete steps. Because watching this video isn't enough. This information has to be applied. Step 1. Choose your reference point deliberately. The people around you are the most powerful trigger for your spending decisions. Accept that reality, and then make a conscious choice. Who will you use as your reference? Don't reference the people you work with. Reference the people you want to become, because real wealth is usually invisible. The most financially secure people are often living the most modest lives. Step 2. Ask Sarah's question before every significant spending decision. Is this decision coming from me, or from the version of me that I think my income now requires? This question is simple, but asked consistently, it creates a difference of thousands of dollars per year. Step 3. Change nothing in the month you receive a raise. For the first 3 months, continue with your existing life. Make 0 upgrades. During that period, route 80% of the additional income into automatic investments. After 3 months, deliberately evaluate the changes you genuinely want. This approach works because the conformity tax hits hardest in the first 6 months. If you put that money to work before your reference point has time to shift, compound interest starts working for you instead of against you. Step 4. Make invisible wealth visible. Calculate your net worth every month. Bank accounts plus investment accounts plus assets minus liabilities. One single number. When you start tracking that number, the reference point for your spending decisions changes. Instead of your neighbor's car, your own net worth graph becomes your benchmark. And when that graph moves upward, it feels significantly better than leasing a BMW. Now I want to show you the true cost of this tax. Remember Marcus's $38,220 annual conformity tax? What would have happened if that money had been invested instead of spent? $38,220 per year at 7% average annual return. After 5 years, $220,000. After 10 years, $527,000. After 20 years, $1,660,000. After 30 years, $3,890,000. Marcus didn't fund his retirement by paying the conformity tax. He funded everyone else's. The leasing company, the premium sports club, the upscale grocery chain, the bank holding his mortgage. They won. Marcus ran. And the most painful part? Marcus never saw this picture because nobody showed it to him until it was too late. Today, I want you to leave with one thing. The conformity tax is voluntary. It feels mandatory, but it is voluntary. And like everything voluntary, once you're aware of it, you decide whether to pay it. Do you want to lease a BMW? Lease it. But know that it's a conformity tax payment and that you're spending that money intentionally. Do you want to move to a more expensive neighborhood? Move. But know the numbers. Know the annual cost. Know the compound effect. This video isn't trying to convince you not to spend. It's trying to save you from spending unconsciously. The difference is enormous. Marcus and Sarah earned the same money. One bought freedom, the other rented an identity. Identity rentals are expensive, and the contracts renew automatically every year. I'll see you in the next one.